Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. It is your girl, Miss Cat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher. And we are here with CEO Mode Activated, another webinar. Today is not Tuesday, but I thought maybe on this Thriving Thursday, we would still bless your game with some good information. So tonight we're talking about systems and structure. Because I am a firm believer that when you have systems and structure in place, that's how you stay consistent. Okay. Because inconsistent effort leads to inconsistent income. Can I get an amen to that? Right. So, so basically, we want to stay consistent so we can make consistent money. All right. So, tonight, again, we're talking about systems and structure. Now, this tonight I've been on the path of simplicity. Okay, y'all notice I'm trying to take y'all slow, right? So we're not going to be talking about how to build out 15 automations, how to get 4 new CRM systems, or how to even get a virtual assistant that, let's be honest, most of y'all are not ready even to manage that, right? So this is tonight what I want to do is we want to talk about creating a business that you can actually keep up with, okay? Because a lot of people don't have a business problem, they just have a consistency problem, right? Let's be honest. You start strong, then you disappear. You come back with a new flyer, then you disappear, right? Then you wonder why is your income unstable, right? So let's keep it real. If your actions are random, then your results will be random, okay? So put random in the chat. Like, you get what I'm saying? If you know that your actions are random, your results will be random as well. Go ahead and put random in the chat if you with me tonight. All right. Now, what consistency actually means, because we hear the word consistency, but what does that actually mean, right? So consistency is knowing what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and how it gets done. That's what consistency is knowing, right? Now, a system is simply a repeatable way of doing something. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be corporate. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just something repeatable. Okay. So if you're doing something in your business and you have to figure it out from scratch every single time, you don't have a system. What you have is stress with a logo. Okay. And we got to break that. We don't want stressful logos. We want consistency and a system. All right. So let's talk about why people stay inconsistent. Most people are inconsistent for one of 5 reasons. Okay. So understanding which one applies to you, that's the first step towards building a business that actually works. Okay. So let's talk about the 5 reasons. Y'all ready? Put 5 in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm not here tonight by myself. Put 5 in the chat and let's talk about the 5 reasons why people are inconsistent. Okay. Number 1, they do not know what matters most. That's reason number 1, right? So maybe they're just busy, but they're not productive. So I'm designing graphics, I'm changing colors, I'm fixing bios, I'm making folders, I'm researching tools, I'm getting ready. That's busy, right? But none of that matters if nobody is being led to the sale. So activity without direction is just noise. All right? Let's keep it real. If it's not moving the needle, if it's not getting you closer to making some money, you're just being busy, but you're not being productive. So I want to ask you guys tonight, you don't have to answer this out loud, but in your notes, in your mental note, what are you doing every week that directly creates visibility, conversations, follow-up, or sales? Let me be real with you. If you cannot answer that clearly, you are probably busy being busy. Okay. So the goal for you is not to do more, it's to do more of what moves the needle. Does that make sense? Right? That makes sense. Put being busy in the chat, right? Busy in the chat, right? So most of us are busy being busy, but we need to do more of what moves the needle. So we said it was going to be 5 reasons. This is reason number 2, why people are inconsistent, because they don't have a weekly rhythm, right? You wake up every week feels different, and that's not in a good way, right? So Monday might start with some confusion. Tuesday, you're catching up. Wednesday, you're overwhelmed. Thursday, you feel like you're behind. Sunday night, you're starting a fresh new week. Let you tell it, right? We starting fresh. You know what? I'll just start fresh on Sunday, right? Have y'all say that to yourself? Oh, the week already done passed. I'll just start fresh, right? But there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no rhythm to your week, right? So I advise you, or say, hey, let's start building a rhythm. Okay, it doesn't have to be a perfect schedule, but let's try to have some type of rhythm to our week. So maybe Monday is a plan and prioritize day. Maybe Tuesday is the day that you create content or post, do your posting or teach, right? Maybe Wednesday is your follow-up day, or the day that you connect with people. Maybe Thursday is the day that you deliver stuff or service your clients. Friday is the day that you review your money, your leads, and your next step, right? So this doesn't mean that nothing else happens in those days, but it just gives your week a backbone. All right. Is this helping anybody tonight? If this is helping you, just put an emoji, something in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. If you guys don't need this stuff, hey, it's cool. We can log off. All right. But I think we do. All right, cool. So let's try to build rhythm. Again, not a perfect schedule, but just at least some type of rhythm. All right. So reason number 3, why we're inconsistent, is because we're trying to remember everything. Look, I can't even remember what I ate yesterday. So what do I look like trying to remember everything about my business in my mind, right? If your business lives in your head, your business is fragile. You need places where things live. All right. So everything needs a home. Let me say that again. Everything needs a home. So that means your content ideas. If you're brainstorming for content for social media, you need a dedicated place to capture and organize your ideas before they disappear. Right? How many times, I'm going to film this dope video, and never put it nowhere, right? So everything needs a home. Your leads and your follow-ups, a system to track who's interested, their status, and next steps. Guys, we talked about this the other day. People randomly all in your DM, all over the place, calling you all on your personal phone. That's why you're inconsistent. You can't follow up because you got 10 phone calls after the fact and you don't have a place where you put your leads at. Where does your income, your offers, and your payment details, where do they live, right? And I know a lot of people don't think about this, but what about your logins and different links? You know how much time people waste? Oh, I forgot my password. It could take you 30 minutes just to log into something sometime, right? So having a place that's organized where your stuff lives at makes life a little bit more consistent, okay? Because sometimes I forgot can get expensive, all right? So reason number 4, and I want y'all to see, I put this on, I ain't no pictures, ain't no nothing with it. This is an important point. They confuse movement with momentum. Let me say that again. They confuse movement with momentum. All right. So let's talk about it. Movement versus momentum. Movement is posting one time, having one conversation, hosting one event, doing stuff. That's movement. Yes, I moved. I did a thing, right? But momentum is posting consistently with a message, following up with leads every week, having a full system to invite, register, remind, deliver, replay, and follow up, doing the right stuff repeatedly. Momentum is built through repetition. The one action is a spark, but a system is a fire. Put fire in the chat, put emoji of a fire in the chat if you're feeling the difference between movement versus momentum. Okay, there we go. So again, you might do one little thing that sparked up something that's cute, but are we setting our business on fire? That's what we need to be doing, right? So make sure that we're clear if our actions are creating movement or momentum. Okay. Reason number 5. Remember, for those that are just tapping in, we're talking about the reasons why people are not consistent, why they're inconsistent, right? So reason number 5, they do not review their results. A lot of people are allergic to the numbers. They don't want to know how many people clicked. They don't want to know how many leads went cold. But guess what, guys? You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. All right? So I know and that's the thing, you're inconsistent, so you don't want to look, right? So you don't want to go on your social media dashboard and see that you only had this many views, right? But guess what? If you don't know what videos are performing well, if you're not tracking the data, how can you fix it? How can you scale it? How can you take it to the next level, right? So remember, a worker just works. They put their head down, they just execute, and they hope that the results improve on their own. But I thought we were all CEOs on this call. Put CEO on in the chat, right? We are CEOs. So that means that CEOs regularly examine what is working, what is not, so they can adjust accordingly. Make sense? Hopefully this is making sense. All right. So we talked about why people are inconsistent. So let's talk about the 5 core systems that every small business needs. Okay. Now, most of you guys are starting from scratch. So you don't need a complicated, somebody said, oh, go get GHL. You don't need all of that right now. You just need 5 simple, repeatable systems that keep your business running, even when motivation is low. Because let me tell y'all, motivation fails, but systems don't. Motivation fades. But if you have a solid system, that system will outwork your motivation. Okay? So these are the 5. We're going to talk about 5 core systems that you as a small business owner need. Okay? System number 1, you need a visibility system. All right? Visibility. Put some eyeballs in the chat. Visibility. Okay? There we go, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. All right? Put some eyeballs in the chat. How do people find out you exist? Right? So, obviously, we talked about content and social media. The number 1 thing, how do people, I'm on social media. Good for you. Okay. So, but where is your content at? You should be doing posts, lives, short form video, YouTube, Facebook groups, things of that nature, right? Content should be short form, long form, and different types of forms, right? But in addition to that, are you networking? Are you going to events? Do you have a referral system in place? Are you collaborating with other people? If you're a subject matter expert, are you taking speaking engagements? Are you seeking speaking engagements, right? Are you doing direct outreach? Emailing your list, DMing people, following up with warm contacts, right? And the crazy thing is, with AI nowadays, there's AI agents that would talk through your DMs for you. People be talking to a whole AI agent and don't even know that. Now, that's another topic for another day, but I'm just saying. So there's many ways that you can do this. But the point is, Not the question is not do you post, the question is do you have a repeatable visibility plan? Let me say that again. A repeatable visibility plan. Okay? All right. So let's talk about an example of what a visibility system in action looks like, right? So, posting 3 times a week, going live once per week, sending 1 email per week, connect with 5 new people per week, follow up with warm leads every Friday. Again, this is just an example, but you see how this is simple, it's clear, it's something you could repeat, right? But you, as a business owner, you can't be mad that people are not buying from you if people barely know that you are even open for business. All right. So we're talking about the 5 core systems that you need. Number 1 is a visibility system. All right. System number 2 is a lead capture system. So when somebody is interested, where do they go? All right. Where do you take them to? So they should be going to a form or some kind of landing page, some email opt-in, a webinar registration, consultation application, right? And let me really hone in this for you. The form should capture their data. You should get their data in some kind of way. You shouldn't send them somewhere and not capture their data. That's a nugget for those that don't understand that data is just as valuable as money. Because if you have the data, then you can follow up, then you can whatever. So anywhere that you're, capturing them, it shouldn't just be an informational page. That's why it says lead capture. You want to capture their data. Okay. Do you have a place where they can schedule a calendar link, a booking page, a discovery call, right? And like I said, do you have a DM keyword? Are we using mini chat? All right, things of that nature. DM the word coach and I'll send you whatever, right? Are you talking in the inbox? All right. So these are things that you have to consider in your business. Do you have this type of system? All right. Because you need to stop leaking opportunity. Interest should not just float around in your inbox or DMs. You need a way to capture it. Okay. Because likes does not mean leads rather. Okay. Engagement is not the same as a captured actionable lead. Just because somebody liked your post or you went viral, right? That doesn't mean anything, right? Just because somebody's in your DMs, that doesn't mean that you're organized. Okay. So if somebody raises their hand and say, you know what? I want to do business with you. It is your job to have a clear next step for that person, or you are leaking opportunity, guys. That's on you. Okay. So do you have a pipeline? Do you have a funnel, right? To get to capture that lead and convert it. All right. System number 3. So we're talking about the 5 core systems that every small business should have for those that are just joining us, right? System number 3 is a follow-up system. Okay. So what happens after someone shows interest? There's a lot of money lost. The fortune is in the follow-up, guys. So, they never got back with me. But did you follow up though? Well, they said they were interested, but did you check back? They liked the post, but did you start a conversation though? Right? So if somebody liked your post, slide in their DM. I mean, they obviously liked it for a reason. Remember that follow-up is not begging. Follow-up is leadership, because guess what? Somebody got to lead this conversation somewhere. So if it not be you, then guess what? They gonna just lead themselves somewhere else and disappear. and go to somebody that's a real leader to lead them to the promised land, right? So that leadership should be coming from you. All right. So let's talk about just a simple follow-up system. Again, just trying to give you guys, some help here, okay? First of all, if anybody ever reaches out to you, it should be your policy. You should live and die by following up with them within 24 hours. You should never, if somebody reaches out to you and you don't follow up with them by 24 hours, shame on you. Please stop doing business. You need to touch base quickly while the interest is fresh. Okay? Now, let's say they followed up, they reached out, you followed up, they didn't say nothing back. Okay, follow up in 3 days. You don't want to pester them. So check in. Hey, just wanted to see, I didn't hear back. Did you have any questions? Let me let you know about our new promotion. So on and so forth, right? Nicole says speed is action, right? All right. Follow up in 7 days. So reconnect with urgency. Maybe, hey, I just wanted to let you know I got this deal that's only good for 24 hours. Not trying to be a pest, but I thought that you should know about this since you did reach out to me. How many of y'all are doing that, right? I know that you was interested. I got something that's only good for the next 24 hours. Not trying to, be a pest, but hey, I just thought that this will be of value to you. But this is the last part where everybody is dropping the ball, right? And this is where we need to really, 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 really buckle down. And that's tracking the status. So if you have a lead capture system, then you should actually be tracking the status of what's happening with each and every lead. So they should be labeled. Are they interested? Did they book? Did they pay? Did they tell you not now? Did they tell you they're going to follow up later? What is happening with that person? You should be tracking this. Because most people are not broke because nobody's interested. They're broke because they let interested people go cold. All right? Let's not do that. We're going to fix that. All right? Hopefully y'all taking notes. All right. System number 4. Core system that every small business needs is a delivery system. So how do you serve people after they pay? For you, getting paid is the finish line. Yes, I'm good. Yes, now I can go. Okay, that's you. But the journey actually really genuinely starts once they give you the money. Getting paid is when the responsibility begins, guys. Please don't be one of them that get the money and just disappear, right? So you need to have a system in place. Once somebody gives me their money, what happens next? Okay, so your delivery system should answer first of all, the logistics. So what happens after the payment? What email do they receive? What form do they complete? When is the first appointment? Where do the files and resources live? Right? That's what a system answers, right? Because a confused client becomes a frustrated client. A clear client becomes a confident client. When they're clear, they're like, oh, okay, I Miss Cat, I didn't have to ask her no questions. I'm very clear. I'm confident that she's going to do exactly what she says she's going to do. But guess what? If a client pays you and they have to ask what happens next, baby, your system needs work. Okay? Nobody should ever give you money and be looking around trying to figure out what the next move is. All right? System number 5. Okay? Again, the 5 core systems is so we talked about the 5 systems. This is the last one. A review system. Okay? How do you know what is working? How do you know? So you should be reviewing your stuff every week, not once a year, not at tax time, not when the account is low, right? Every week. Put weekly in the chat. Weekly. Put weekly in the chat. I just want to know that y'all still with me, okay? Right? If you stay on this every week, right? Now you know, okay, this ain't working. You can adjust it in real time. The review system is important because if you're not reviewing, you don't know, and something could be broken, but it could take one little tweak to get it up and going, and you back in the money. But because you don't review, you don't know, right? So at the end of the day, a review system is highly important. All right. So let's talk about your weekly review checklist. How much money did you make this week? Do you know? Right? How many leads came in? How many conversations and follow-ups happened? Let's talk about the content. What worked? What offer actually got attention? What went viral, right? Let's talk about the gaps. What did I avoid? What needs to change next week? See, this is how you stop guessing. All right? If you do not review the business, you will keep repeating the same problem and calling it a new season. Man, okay. Maybe I'm talking to myself tonight. I'm just saying, guys, it's time to stop guessing. We need to be very clear on what is happening in our business. All right? So, the weekly CEO structure. 5 simple practices that separate business owners who grow from those who stay stuck. Because structure is not a cage, it's a launch pad. People get I'm so structured. I so this, that. Okay, well, that's how we launch. This is how we stay progressive. This is how we keep in motion, keep that momentum going, right? All right. So let's talk about weekly planning. Pick one day a week, one day to plan your week. Do not start without knowing what matters. Okay. So if you're planning your week, what is the main business goal this week? For some of us, we have several different things that we offer. What am I offering? What am I focused on this week? Who do I need to follow up with this week? What money? What's my money goals, right? What's my money moves this week? All right. What appointments, what events, what deadlines are already on the calendar? We need to take time to do this, guys. And I know you probably like, yeah, I heard it before, but are we doing it though? Right? So we need to plan out our weeks. All right. Daily CEO check-in. Now this could be 10 minutes, but it keeps you from spending a whole day just working, but not moving anything important, right? So top 3 priorities. What are the 3 most important things today? Right? What is my money mover? What is the one action that creates money, visibility, or momentum? Who do I need to follow up with today? What am I avoiding that I shouldn't be? I know I need to be doing this. What am I avoiding? Right? So we talked about the weekly planner, right? Then now we're talking about check in every day with yourself for 10 minutes and just say, hey, this is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm going to follow up. This is what I'm going to do. All right. Then we need a content visibility block. So you have to, guys, if you haven't done so, I post all the replays in the group, guys. We talked about creating content, being more visible, right? Pick a specific time to create, post, and engage, okay? And the point is not for you to be a content machine or so that way you go viral and you have all these followers. That's not the point. The point is so that you stop disappearing. Because again, inconsistency and visibility, right, creates inconsistent income. So again, write out your content. Tuesday, maybe you actually post. Wednesday is the day that you engage. Thursday is where you share proof. Friday, invite to the next step. This is just an example. I'm not saying you have to do it in this way, but do something. All right? Just do it like Nike says. Do something. Block out your content. When are you going to film? When are you going to create? You have to block this time out. Otherwise, it doesn't get done. Is that fair to say? Right? If you don't block it out, it's not going to, something else is going to come up. All right? Then you need a follow-up block. This is non-negotiable. Pick 1 or 2 days per week where follow-up happens, not based on your mood, but on your calendar. All right. So maybe Tuesdays and Fridays, you follow up with leads, past client, consultation requests, people who are engaged, referrals, and open conversations. I'm trying to show you guys how to boss up. All right. And then Friday, so all I'm doing is showing you everything, the systems that I said that you need. Now, what am I doing? Showing you how to actually implement them. Because like Miss Cat always do, I'm not going to tell you that something is broken and not show you how to fix it. All right. So the next thing, Friday review. So in the week, like a CEO, this is how you build a business with awareness. So ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What brought in the money this week? What created the interest? What did I avoid? What needs to be adjusted next week? And then Saturday, go have a drink. I'm just playing. But nonetheless, are y'all feeling me tonight? Is this helping somebody? Okay. Shay's like, Shay, don't be laughing at me. Okay. All right. So look, tonight I'm not gonna make y'all say this out loud, right? But what we're gonna do live, so hopefully you got your pen and paper. We're gonna do my business structure audit. We're gonna take an honest look at where your business stands right now, because awareness is the first step to improvement. Okay, so grab your pen and paper. Let's go through this audit together. Okay. All right. So how to score yourself, right? So you're going to give yourself a 1. If you don't, what I show you, if you don't have it at all, give yourself a 1. All right. If you started it, but you're not consistent, then give yourself a 2 or a 3. Okay. Now, if you have a clear and consistent, thing in your business, give yourself a 4 or 5, right? Now, what I want you to do is rate each one of the 5 core systems. We talk about the 5 core systems, right? I want you to rate yourself honestly, and your lowest scores reveal your biggest opportunities. Y'all ready? Put ready in the chat if you're ready. Ready in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your visibility. All right. Do people consistently see what I offer? All right. So give yourself a 1 if no visibility plan exists. Give yourself a 2 or 3 if posting sometimes or inconsistently. You're posting sometimes, but it's not consistent. And give yourself a 4 or 5 if you have a repeatable visibility plan in place. Now, if you have a plan in place, but all your stuff is Canva graphics, give yourself a 4. Okay. Even if you're posting every day, give yourself a 4. All right. You need to mix it up. We talked about that the other day. All right. So I'm going to give y'all a moment. Give yourself a score. All right. All right. So let's talk about your lead capture. Do I have a clear place to send my interested people? Somebody raised their hand. They're like, hey, I want to do business with you. All right. So give yourself a 1 or a 2 if your leads are just floating around in the DMs or in the inboxes and they don't have no clear step. Give yourself a 3 if you have something, but it's not consistently used or promoted. Give yourself a 4 or a 5 if you have a clear working lead capture system that you can send people to every single time. Write your score down. All right, let's talk about your follow-up. Do I consistently, not sometimes, right? Do I consistently follow up with interested people? All right. So give yourself a 1 or a 2. If your follow-up is based on mood or memory, which means that it really happens because I'm rarely in the mood and I forget, right? So I rarely follow up. So give yourself a 1. Give yourself a 1 or a 2, rather. Give yourself a 3 if you follow up sometimes, but there's no consistent schedule or tracking. Give yourself a 4 or a 5 if your follow up is on the calendar, tracked, and it happens regardless of how you feel. All right, let's talk about delivery. Do I have a clear process after someone pays? Give yourself a 1 or a 2 if a client pays and then they have to ask you what happens next. Confusion for your clients is very common. Give yourself a 1 or a 2, right? Give yourself a 3 if you have a loose process, but it's not really documented or consistent. All right. Give yourself a 4 or a 5 if clients receive a clear professional onboarding experience every single time. All right. Last but not least, do I review my money, leads, content, and progress weekly? Give yourself a 1 or a 2 if you only look at numbers when something goes wrong or at tax time. Okay. Give yourself a 3 if you check in occasionally, but there's no structured weekly review habit. Give yourself a 4 or a 5 if you review your business weekly and use the data to make decisions. All right. Tally that up, right? So while y'all looking at that, I want to mention the difference between a task and a system, right? So a task happens once. You post in today, you send one invoice, you follow up once, you host a webinar, you did it one time, you did a thing, right? A thing. But a system repeats. You have a weekly content rhythm, you have a payment and onboarding process, having a follow up schedule, having registrations, reminders, delivery, replay, and an offer follow up, right? That's a system. So let's stop doing a thing and create systems within our business. Okay. So some of you might be like, Kat, I'm just starting off. I don't know how to start. Like, this is just so overwhelming. Where do I begin? Right. So, what I want to encourage you is don't try to build everything at once. That's how people get overwhelmed and then don't do nothing. When people get overwhelmed, nothing happens. Right. So, you just did an audit. Start with the system that's closest to the money. Okay. So maybe it's the follow up for you. Maybe it's the lead capture. Maybe it's the way that you position your offer. Maybe you're not even visible. Or maybe people are reaching out, but there's no way to pay, or they don't, like, they're confused. Only you know that, guys. But just start fixing one thing at a time. Don't go in here and try to rebuild your whole setup. Just build one thing at a time so it doesn't become overwhelming. Okay. And you got to be real with yourself. Where are you dropping the ball, right? So if people are interested but they're not buying, that means that you have to fix your follow up. All right? If people are watching you but they're not taking action, maybe it's your lead capture and your call to action. All right? Maybe you're not telling them, click the link, buy this. You know, you might give them you might get them there and then never tell them, hey, I want you to schedule a call. That's on you. You have to tell them clearly what you want them to do. People are paying, but they're confused. That means you need to fix your delivery. People are not aware of your offer. That means that you're not visible. Doing a lot, but cannot tell what is working. That means you need to fix your review. Did that help y'all tonight? Hopefully, this is helping you. Put help in the chat. If this is really helping you and blessing your game tonight, put help in the chat. All right? So I'm telling you clearly, if this is what's happening to you, then most likely those are the ways that you fix it. All right? So what I want to leave you guys with tonight is you don't have to fix your entire business this week, okay? But you do need to stop operating randomly, okay? So pick the one system that's costing you the most money, time, or peace. Then build a simple structure. We talked about structure, right? Build a simple structure around it. One system, simple structure, and start now. All right? That is what I leave you guys with tonight. All right? Hopefully that was helpful. Can I get 2 or 3 people just to unmute and tell me again, not that that was amazing or whatever, because we already know that we already know that was good, right? But what exactly about tonight can you leave with and go execute immediately? Somebody unmute and let me know.
I can leave with tonight just being able to do more weekly reviews on my business. I rated myself at like a 3 on that. So I need to tighten it up on that. And then also, getting better with like my follow-ups. It was crazy. I was just telling my VA we need to implement mini chat at our business. So um, that's where I'm headed at now. It's just like tightening up on a lot of things that you mentioned.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Can I get some
I also
feedback from
want,
tonight?
good evening, everybody. I also wanted to say, my time management, for is like scheduling and being consistent, with my scheduling and my posting, and also having to come up with a way to follow up with anybody that's like liking or make comment or when I'm posting about my book or sharing my book. I'm starting to, from my other session that we had, I did some follow up text to a couple of people that have actually led to me, them posting on my Amazon as reviews. So I'm going to
Perfect.
implement that. Those who I know that purchase, because with Amazon, they don't let you know who purchased. So if anybody let me know anything, that they purchased or something like that, I will follow up, coming up with something to follow up with that. So that's what I'm taking out. Some of the things that I'm taking out from
Perfect.
tonight. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And just remember, we talked about the 5 core systems. So all we have to do is we identified the system. Now you have to create structure around the system. And
Right.
everybody's structure is different. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be repeatable. Something that you do every single time, because that's how we build what? Momentum. So now
Hmm.
we're not just moving, we're actually building momentum. So hopefully that's helpful. Thank you for sharing. Can I get one more person to chime in? Or y'all gonna leave me on red tonight?
I got you. This is as always another great opportunity to not only just learn stuff, but it's also the things that I already know. That reminder, keeping it fresh and present on your mind, kind of helps you reinvigorate and get back to the grind. Because you're reminding me that hey, this is not just what I need to do. This is what everybody needs to do to be successful. So when I see a methodology that works, it's easier to implement it if I'm hearing it with repetition.
For sure. Thank you so much for chiming in. Well, guys, that's all I have for you tonight.